What if the biggest battle in Stranger Things Season 5 isn't between Eleven and Vecna, but Eleven and Max? Max Mayfield, who was once Eleven's closest friend and ally, may now be the very weapon Vecna uses to finish what he started. As the lines between friend and foe blur, Eleven will have to make an impossible choice: save Max, or stop her. Let's dive into this theory that's shaking the upside down, because if it's true, Season 5 will be the most emotional and explosive chapter yet. At the end of Stranger Things Season 4, the stakes couldn't have been higher, and the fallout left more questions than answers. Vecna, the powerful and terrifying force behind so much of the chaos in Hawkins, looked like he was done for when Robin, Nancy, and Steve lit him up in the Upside Down. But when they peered over the edge to see where his body had landed, he was gone, vanished without a trace. That moment left fans uneasy, and rightfully so. Bad guys don't just vanish in Hawkins. Back in the real world, an even more haunting scene played out. Eleven went to see Max in the hospital, trying to get into her mind like she used to. But this time, there was only silence, a vast, empty void where Max's consciousness should have been. It was a crushing moment that offered no comfort to the characters or the audience. Max's body remained alive, but her mind was completely unreachable. What if that wasn't a coincidence? What if that emptiness wasn't just from the trauma, but a hint? What if Vecna and Max are not only connected, but possibly trapped in the same mental space, like a weird in-between place Eleven can't even reach? If that's the case, then Eleven's biggest fight in Season 5 might not just be with Vecna, but with Max too. Vecna may be down, but he's far from out, and the key to his survival may lie within Max herself. When Robin, Nancy, and Steve launched their desperate attack on Vecna in the Upside Down, they did some serious damage. With the shotgun's blasts, the Molotov cocktails, and how intense they were, they probably hurt him bad, or even destroyed his physical form altogether. But Vecna's not just a body anymore. His powers are all about psychic and supernatural forces, so he can do things a normal person can't. Right before they attacked, Vecna was messing with Max, trying to get her to go deeper into his mind world to finish his creepy ritual. That might have been his chance to escape death, not by running away, but by hiding. Specifically, hiding inside Max's mind. Vecna didn't just run away, he hid in the one place nobody would think to look, the girl's broken mind that he almost killed. Her consciousness was already fractured from his assault, and with her body barely clinging to life, it may have created the perfect vessel for Vecna's essence to hide, recover, and plot his next move. He could be getting stronger from inside Max, waiting until he's strong enough to take over her completely or come back even stronger. This isn't just about surviving, it's about getting stronger. And if Vecna is really inside Max's mind, her body could become the place where he comes back. The scary part is what that means for Max. Is she stuck in her own mind, trying to hold on to herself? Or has Vecna already taken over everything that made her who she was? Eleven's inability to find Max in her mental space wasn't just sad, it may have been the first terrifying sign that she's no longer alone in there. One of the most haunting possibilities raised by Max's condition is that she's not truly gone, but rather, trapped. If Vecna's in her head, she could be a prisoner in her own body, trapped in some mind prison where she can't get out. That's why Eleven couldn't find her at the hospital, even though she tried so hard. The blank space she encountered wasn't just a void, it was a cage, carefully constructed by Vecna to keep Max's mind hidden and suppressed. It's messed up to think about, while everyone sat at her bedside, Max could be fighting for her own mind, screaming for help where no one can hear her. If this theory plays out in Stranger Things Season 5, it sets the stage for a final battle that is not just physically intense, but emotionally devastating. The big showdown between Eleven and Vecna might not just happen in the Upside Down or the real world, but inside Max Mayfield's mind. Imagine the heartbreaking twist, Eleven forced to fight her closest friend's body, all while knowing Max's consciousness is still somewhere inside, struggling to break free. Vecna could be using Max's body as a weapon, and Max could be fighting him from inside her own mind, trying to take back control before it's too late. This two-part fight would make the ending way more interesting. On the outside, it's 11 versus Max, at least, what looks like Max. But inside, it's Max versus Vecna, a scary, mind-bending battle in a weird dream world. And the pressure's on. If 11 holds back, Vecna wins. If she goes too far, she might destroy Max. It's the kind of tragic, emotionally loaded scenario that Stranger Things excels at, one that could bring the series full circle, as themes of friendship, sacrifice, and identity collide in one final, heartbreaking clash. Of course, the most shocking and devastating element of this theory lies in the emotional toll it would take on 11. If Vecna's in Max and wants to use her, it's gonna be a brutal fight, and 11 wouldn't just be battling her biggest enemy, but her best friend too. It's the kind of psychological warfare Vecna is infamous for. He doesn't just attack with brute force, he manipulates emotions, twists memories, and exploits the most vulnerable parts of his victims. What could be worse for 11 than fighting the person she tried so hard to help? This scenario would push 11 to her breaking point. Every hit, every time she uses her powers on Max, would be Vecna's way of messing with her head, making her doubt everything. Vecna knows exactly how much Max means to 11. That's why it's such a good plan. He gets a new body while he heals, and he uses Max to make 11 feel guilty and freeze up. It's emotional manipulation at its most brutal, and it would give Vecna a clear advantage in the battle. Now, would Vecna still have access to his formidable psychic abilities, or would he be limited to the natural limitations of his host's physical form? Could he control Max's body and use it to mess with people's minds, or would he have to trick and manipulate everyone to fight? This uncertainty only adds to the tension. If he's at full strength, the threat to 11, and everyone else in Hawkins, is immense. But even if he's weaker, Vecna's good at messing with your head and is super mean, so he's still dangerous. In fact, being underestimated in this new form might be exactly what he's counting on. No matter how strong Vecna is in Max's body, this is a huge deal for 11. She'd be in a terrible spot, having to face her biggest fear, hurting someone she cares about. And if Max is still in there, fighting with her in her mind, the question isn't just if 11 can win, but if she can save Max, or if she'll have to do the unthinkable to beat Vecna. Here's another thing that makes this whole thing so scary: what happens if Max's body gets wrecked? Would killing her kill Vecna, or would he simply escape like a parasite, moving on to find another victim? Given Vecna's connection to the Upside Down and his evolving supernatural abilities, it's entirely possible that even death wouldn't be enough to stop him, not if he's found a way to untether his consciousness from a physical form. If 11 has to choose between offing Max to get rid of Vecna, she'd be in a total nightmare: take out the bad guy or try to save her best friend. It'd be a lose-lose situation, emotionally shattering and morally complex, the kind of tragedy Stranger Things has never shied away from. No matter the details of how Vecna's possession works, whether he's limited by Max's body, whether her mind can fight back, or whether his powers are fully intact, one thing is absolutely certain: watching 11 face off against Max, possessed by the very enemy she swore to destroy, would be both intense and heartbreaking. It wouldn't be a simple good versus evil thing. It'd be a tough emotional roller coaster, where every move is loaded with love, sadness, and fear. 11's already lost a ton: her family, her innocence, feeling like she fits in, and having to hurt or even kill Max would be the worst. For someone who's always gotten strength from her friends, this fight would hurt more than any fight with the Demogorgon or the Mind Flayer. This time, the enemy would look like the person she loves the most. The emotional and psychological toll of this confrontation would push 11 to her absolute limits. It'll make her face her worst fears, like, not just losing Max, but what she can do when she's pushed to the brink. Could she hurt her best friend to save everyone? Could she see past the monster in Max? That's the kind of stuff that'll make or break 11 in the last season. Stranger Things Season 5 is already shaping up to be the most intense and emotional chapter of the series. Eleven fighting Vecna is already a huge deal, but if it's through Max, that's a whole other level of tragedy, a fight about love, loss, and the impossible stuff heroes gotta do sometimes. If you're rooting for Max to survive and make it back to her friends, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Strangers Freaks for more deep dive Stranger Things theories and updates.